Hi, I'm Park from the Game Guides, and in this video I want to show you how you can build a really cool base that is easy to defend and how to store food really easily, how to handle the cold. It's a really great game, but you just kind of need to know a few of the tricks. So let me just help you out. Let's get started. Okay, so this is my base. This is Skull Village. I am not very original with names, I know. And anyway, I actually had, I started with the three different kinds of villagers in the valley area, so a pretty flat area. And I wanted to have just one big base right in the middle. Now, how do I defend it? It is actually very easy. It's a very simple kill box mechanic. So, what the attackers will always try to do, they will always try to attack either at your weakest points or at the open points. Now, the open points are just whenever you have, for example, a door, a gate that isn't closed. So, for example, right now I want my guys to mine this up and later on build some farms with birch trees over here. So I made this opening. So whenever raiders show up, I immediately close this up with the resources that I have stocked in my stockpile over here. But if I didn't, then the raiders would just enter through here. But if they cannot find a hole, they're going to look for the weakest point, and that is in this case this door. Now, this door is very specifically placed here because I want them to enter through here. All the others are plain just walls, wooden walls, and now I'm expanding it with limestone walls around it just to fortify it a little bit more. I always do this in RimWorld, and it's basically a tactic I'm using once again, though I do not know if it's really necessary with this current setup. I don't think so. Either way, why do I want them to enter through this specific door? Now you probably already see the answer coming up. So first of all, we have stick traps. We can place these down so we can really, by placing this door here, we decide where the raiders are going to enter. So if we place some stick traps, they will get some easy damage. Now I am going to double this because the entrance is built in this trench. So this is a sub area. This is a little bit lower. They're gonna go down this hill. They're gonna step over the stick traps. They're gonna go through the door. Then they're gonna get hit once again. In case they do go through, they enter into this room, which is also filled with stick traps. They can only go up the stairs to reach my base. So they can only enter it one by one. And over here, I will have, of course, a few guys with melee weapons and shields and stuff like that. And of course, and this is going to be my main attack, we have two guard towers here. So we have a door over here, we have two staircases going up, and over here we have the watchtower. So whenever a raiding party attacks us, we immediately place the archers in these two towers, depending on from which way they come. Honestly, this one is going to be the most important because this one is the closest to this slope. But this one is mainly for the archers that are out of range, but I want to come back to that in a second. But either way, just by placing our guys in this little tower, they're going to rain down with arrows. And, you don't need to kill all the raiders before they start retreating. So that's no problem there. Over time, you might want to fortify this a little bit more with more doors, more hindrances. So they will be, it will be harder for them to reach that point. Now, because sometimes right now my guys are still using longbows and sturdy light bows, so the simpler bows, whatever are they called, the short bows. But of course, you have the crossbows also. If you have not unlocked them just yet, like I do, over here the crossbows, and they have a bigger area of range. Now, I have already had some attackers who wielded some of these, and these are pretty annoying. But because they can stand pretty far away from me and they can hit my archers, but my archers can't hit them because they don't have it at range, we kind of need to work around that. How do we do that? Very simple. What we do is we're just gonna build this trench a lot bigger. So this trench gives us height advantage because, well, one, we stay away from them, but also we have an easier time to hit them. The archers, if they cannot hit you from over here, they can't just come closer to your towers. No. What they will need to do is they will need to go around, all the way around, until this slope over here. This is a natural slope. If you do not have this kind of slope, you can just build a staircase and they will come closer. Up until whenever they are able to reach you. And then at this point, if they were standing here and they were shooting at this watchtower, by destroying this ground, they have to just come around, come closer, and once they're over here, we can attack them freely. So just by building this big trench, now it's kind of like a moat from a castle, but instead of filling them with the water, we're just giving, well, we just don't want to give the archers a place to stand. So that is security very easily. We just offer a very easy attackable position. It's this door, and we just lead them towards there. And here we just, use all our firepower to kill them all. Next, I want to talk about is heat, because of course we are in the winter. The winter, it's a very short tip that I quickly want to mention. So let's go a little bit down. Okay, so for example, over here I have my stockpile. I'm gonna, change this a little bit over time, but anyway. What we do is in the winter it's very cold in here. So for example, in this little stockpile over here, still it's minus 3.9 degrees. You can see that in this corner over here. So it's fairly cold in there. No, it's 5.7. This is minus 3.9. And by placing just some clay braziers, suddenly it's 15 degrees. This is a really easy way for just heating up some bedrooms. It's really important in the winter. Now let's move on to how this entire setup works. I have specific fields, and this is also going to lead up to the entire food storage system, and kind of basically how it works. So first of all, you have over here a butcher table. So I have hunters, they can go kill some deer or hares or whatever. They bring them here. They're automatically going to place them on this stockpile. The stockpile is only, and the stockpiles are pretty much very important, just like in RimWorld. They will only allow for animal carcasses right here. Now, when our production lady is done, she's gonna butcher it, and then she can decide either she's gonna smoke it. We might do smokehouses here, but honestly, these are no longer very useful for me because I'm considering deconstructing them. Or if it's done, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going underground. So if you see over here, I have this little staircase and this goes way down. So right now we are at 6.0. So we're going to go, okay, 5.0 is ground floor. And let's go down. Over here we have this little area where our guy is doing his research. And just don't mind this. I kind of dug out a little bit more than I had to. And over here we have our stockpile of books, and as we're talking, I can finally expand this. So this is basically all for the research. Now, if these things get destroyed for whatever reason, you have to do your research all over again. So, kind of be careful with these. So I gave them their own specific storage room. Anyway, for food storage, we're going to go a little bit more down. And over here, we have our food area. Now, this is a very important thing to know, and this will help you out a lot. Now, in RimWorld, you have, for example, freezers. Now, freezers are not, that doesn't exist in this game because we don't have any air conditioning units or whatever. So, but we can stop any food from decomposing by just placing it on the 1.0 floor. So actually right now under this floor is granite, and you can't go down there. That is pretty much the bottom of the map, and if you place your food here, it will never decompose. So that's actually my biggest advice. Whenever you can, start digging a hole, a big staircase all the way down to the bottom of the map, and place over here a stockpile of your food. Now, if the wheat fields or barley fields or whatever have gained any food, or if the hunters have brought an animal that has been butchered, they will bring it all down. None of the stockpiles on the ground floor allow for any food to be stored there. they're gonna bring that down, and they're gonna bring that over here. So right now it's winter, so it's empty. I'm not getting any much food in, but I don't really need to because I have a pretty decent stockpile of stew. I think I have no right now 94 resources, and my guys haven't been cooking since at least the end of fall. So you see, I really have enough. Anyway, they're bringing down their fresh food over here, and that is linked to this kitchen area. So over here we have the brewing station and of course the limestone heart. Now campfire also works, but I waited until I had unlocked the limestone heart before setting up the system. And this is just basically make meals forever. Um, as you can see, the stockpile over here that only allows food, raw food, that's going to get cooked, and that's going to be placed in this specific room that's only for meals and stimulants. Stimulants are basically your beer and stuff like that. So I'm probably going to move that to a different room. So this is only going to be meals over time. This is basically our supply for the winter, and it's more than enough for my first year. And honestly, I'm just going to expand the system more and more until, we can never run out of food. As I said, just click on it and you will see it does not decompose down here. If whenever you have cooking, then you will also have some bad stuff, like for example ashes. Now the ashes are going to be placed in this dumping stockpile that is just purely for rotting flesh. If something ever goes bad for some reason, so it's pretty much impossible, or just your ash that can decompose over here. Also, just to reduce the downtime of my guys going up and down the staircase, I also placed over here a table and 6 chairs, and over here they can eat. This is basically, for me, going medieval was very, very annoying at the food wise. I had a really hard time storing it, and didn't see how I could survive the winter basically. But just by finding out how this works, I just went all the way down, and I was constantly realizing that each time you go down map, actually go lower on the map, and then the food will decompose slower, and at the 1.0 it doesn't decompose at all. So this is just probably the biggest tip that I can share. And yeah, that's basically the entire map. Now, of course, just like in RimWorld, also the first thing you're going to be placing down in RimWorld is that little stick, that horseshoe pin. And of course, the backgammon table is also very important to keep the guys happy. If we just quickly go over jobs, now, of course, you actually have to decide which is the most important job for whichever person. Of course, the stars are going to ensure that they train faster, but the ones that I would always place on one is the convalescence. So that's basically they will just go sit in their bed until they're healed. And the steward is going to be doing basic tasks, and the hauling, because honestly, hauling is pretty important in this game. At the very start, you're probably gonna want to have some guys only do construction, only guys doing mining, cooking, whatever. But honestly, I would try to get some guys extra. I have right now 6, and I'm pretty happy with them right now. But honestly, I have, for example, Lily over here. She does some tailing because she's 21 skill. But for the rest, the only thing I really want her to do is haul. That is basically the most important thing, because I constantly want them to move things between my stockpiles. I have my dumping stockpile, I have my warfare stockpile, I have my regular stockpiles, and then those 3-4 stockpiles I have specifically for food. So that hauling is really important, and I'm just going to improve, just expand that even more. So I'm just saying hauling is really important. Schedule is basically very easy, just like in RimWorld. Just keep the sleep on the regular what it is right now, so 23 to 4. If they have hay beds or the wooden hay beds, that is plenty of time to sleep and get well rested, and then they can perform their tasks as needed. I always leave 1 hour empty over here so they can do their religious things, or they can do their just go eat, for example. Then they work from 6 to 19, and then those last 2 hours over here just leisure, so that's backgammon or whatever it is, for example the praying. And the last hour then they can do whatever they want. That's most likely always going to be drinking or stuff like that. But anyway, Those are just some things I really wanted to mention. Of course, with these kind of system for security that I already talked about, if you're asking my opinion on research, agriculture is going to be one of the ones you're going to want to get as quickly as possible because you want to get food. And after that, honestly, I would go multiple ways. I would definitely get smelting because that's going to give you iron ingots, and you will want to get the limestone heart next because that is going to allow you to pickle food and just preserve it a much longer, combined with the smokehouse. But honestly, if you have these types of security measures like I do, if you kind of use these kill boxes, also be sure to get some wooden weaponry and just craft short bows. Don't bother with the cudgel, the wooden spear, the flails and stuff like that. No, just go down this road. But yeah, guys, that was it for me. I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any tips to share, please do share them because I'm still trying to figure out the game for myself, and I would really like your help with that. But guys, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.